So I kept my cool, and if you glitch out, I'll keep my cool here too.
Okay, just keep cool, Darcy.
Yeah.
Keep cool. That's the key here.
All right.
On that note, hey, it's Alex with Couch.com, and I am here with my new friend, Darcy, from Simpli Home. Hello there. Where are you located right now?
I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Okay, and just for our viewers at home, I just want to make sure, is there a special Canadian spelling of Simpli? Is that why we have the I at the end of the word instead of a Y? I'm just wondering.
I wasn't with the company when we decided on Simpli Home with the I. There's a lot of Simplies with the Y and the I, but it had nothing to do with Canada, no.
Okay, I was really digging for something juicy there, but I think we can move on. Tell us about the company, and just, I think for people who are not familiar with the brand, just what's the general value proposition of Simpli Home? Why does it exist?
Of course. Simpli Home, we do whole home furniture. We're a whole home furniture brand. We sell solid wood and upholstered furniture. And it's really high quality stuff, especially for the price point. We're very high value in terms of what you can get for the money. Our slogan right now, we have a few different iterations of this, but largely we say that great quality is a right. So we're very stylish and on trend, but it's something that you can afford. We're trying to be that middle ground there. What we're seeing online is that there's just this value proposition where you can either get ripped off in the terms of spending too much for something that isn't worth that, or you can get ripped off in terms of getting a bunch of junk that doesn't cost a lot of money. And we're trying to not have either of those negative experiences through online buying with furniture. So that's our commitment, is to be very stylish, have very high quality materials from the wood to the hardware. And we predominantly sell in the United States. We have our own website, and we sell through many online marketplaces like Amazon or Home Depot, Ashley, Wayfair, Target, the usual suspects.
So you guys are really dialed in with the marketplaces. I'd be interested to hear about that a little bit more. But first, I need to point out to you and those watching at home,
Yes.
I am a Simpli Home customer. I have a Simpli Home couch right here in Burbank, California, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. I agree that I think it's of very high quality, and I posted a little review here on the site, which I'll link to on this post as well, with me and my son unboxing and trying out the packaging. I wouldn't stop talking about the packaging in this review, Darcy. I don't know if you saw it, but I really had a lot to say about it because it was really nice.
Thank you so much for the kind words and your honest and glowing review. We're very appreciative.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's great. It's a legit piece of furniture. And that's part of what really endeared me to you guys and your company. After I got it and experienced it, I wanted to understand more about what you guys are doing. And I know you guys have been around for a while in the furniture space and doing a lot, but upholstery, meaning couches, is like a newer thing for you. So talk about that evolution in a way that would be interesting or understandable, at least to the layman.
Simpli Home's been around a long time. We've been around since 2001. We were founded by Joram and Erez Weinrich. They're brothers. And so they worked in their multi-generational lumber company with their family. I think there was 3 generations there. And they learned the ins and outs of wood and solid wood and wanted to make a transition over to furniture. Erez he had deep knowledge in retail. He was an executive at Home Depot. And Joram is like more of he has an MBA. He's a very marketing forward person. He's a creative. And he's a great visionary, and he learned the ropes pretty quickly on sourcing and the design of furniture as well. So he just has a good eye and a good intuition. So Simpli Home started as a sourcing company, and we've evolved. We're now an international company, both in terms of our structure and where we sell. So we're in Canada, in the Canada and India and Vietnam, China, Macau, and Scotland, and more in terms of the internal bones of Simpli Home and where we're located, and our headquarters in Toronto. So you asked about why the transition into sofas. We've done upholstery before, so we've done accent chairs. So but sofas is, as you mentioned, it's its own beast. There's many reasons why we wanted to do this. First off is that who doesn't love sofas? I happen to know, are a very big fan of couches.
Oh man, boy, do I love couches. So much so that I've devoted my life to them.
That's right. Yeah. So it's one of those things that I love sofas. We all do. It was one of those boxes we needed to tick. But more so than that, we want to become a sofa brand. We're in so many other categories, and sofas just had to happen for us to become a whole home brand. We have an amazing supply chain, and we work and have access with the best manufacturers in the world. We have great relationships. We have great designers too. I feel like we've been bulking up for this for a long time, so we can just come in and take the industry by storm.
I love it. From what I've seen so far, and I'm not just giving you fluff.
Yeah.
From what I've seen so far, I think you guys have a real shot at that, just based on if you're able to deliver this type of quality product at the price point, there's a lot of value here. It's a great piece of furniture. And I think having sold many couches, like I was more on the train of ripping people off is what you were saying before. And I was, no, I think I know good quality couch when I see one. And yeah, again, and I told you this privately too, I'm really curious to understand how you guys are doing it for the price. I think it's a really good price. And there's a sustainability story as well that at least I saw on the website. And tell me a little bit about it, because I've heard a lot of fake ones in my day, a lot of the. So what are you guys doing to address this, the push for sustainability?
Internally at Simpli Home, we have the values that every company should have. And then we have our core values that kind of define us as a business. So when we hire, those are the things we hire on. And it starts from the top as well. So these are things that are really near and dear to Era's and Yorm's heart, as well as mine and the other members of the executive team. We are hungry, so we stay hungry. We bring the wow. We just want to impress with everything we do internally or externally. And then we want to do the right thing. In business, you can't really do the right thing without being environmentally conscious. As an older company, we've been around since 2001, the ability to ship furniture internationally in a sustainable way has not always been there. I think that the things that are available to us are more approachable now, and we've tried to be at the head of that curve with what's possible. For instance, we've been sourcing 100% sustainably sourced wood for a very long time. That's always been a part of our regimen. 3 or 4 years ago, we became plastic neutral with our partners Clean Hub and Greenworms to remove ocean-bound plastic in India and other parts of the world as well. So that makes us a plastic neutral company. So there is trace amounts of plastic in our packaging, some unavoidable aspects, but that's always offset in those ways with some of the efforts that we're doing. We're planting a tree for each purchase on simplyhome.com. First, that was mangroves in Kenya. And now we've switched that over to dry deciduous trees in Madagascar. And so far we've absorbed over 1,000 tons of carbon, which is great. And we've recently updated our packaging to be eco-friendly. No styrofoam. We're using honeycomb cardboard for box fillers. And as I mentioned, there's still minimum amounts of plastic, but just the bare minimum, some wrap that we would have around it. Shipping and furniture, that is definitely one of the biggest challenges because you want to be environmental, but the things that you put into the packaging need to be conducive for the person receiving their furniture without it being broken. And then there's the build of our sofas, for instance. So we're using kind leather, which is a very environmentally sustainable aspect of leather. On our website, you can click through and go through the website and learn more about kind leather, but we're doing our very best to make the components of what we're creating as sustainable as possible.
Wow. That definitely passed my sniff test.
Yeah, okay, cool. Great.
No, that's great. That's all really great stuff. And as a customer and a user of this furniture, I mean, my son is still sleeping in the box every single night.
Kids love boxes, yeah.
It literally, we still do have it, actually. And that's really great to hear. It makes me feel good. I've also, while you were working through that, I was looking for like sort of some Canadian accent or colloquialisms, and I heard two.
Oh, really?
I
thought I had a non-regionalized dialect here.
Oh, no, I got you, Darcy.
Right.
You said it has been instead of been, I would say been, right?
Yeah.
And then process instead of process.
Process. Yeah.
Process. I gotcha.
Eh? Yeah.
Process. Hey. Oh, and he gave us an A.
I threw that in for good fun. No, I say A. Yeah. It's good crack up here in Canada.
Yeah. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so I say yo sometimes. That's like what I grew up with. It's like the Eastern version of the Vancouver, BC A.
It's hard to have insight into your own isms, so thanks for that.
You're welcome. And it'll be on the playback too, so you'll have it immortalized.
Totally.
Speaking of you, how did you get into the furniture industry? I know your background is elsewhere. Usually I always say people have got to be crazy to join this nutty furniture industry of ours, but what was it that compelled you, or how did you end up here, and what are your feelings about being part of this industry?
I think you've probably heard the phrase, you don't choose furniture and that furniture chooses you. Have you come across this?
I believe it. What's one thing that kind of stuck out to you when you joined the industry, or that you think customers in general would be really surprised to know?
The things that didn't shock me, but the aspects that were more or less surprising when I came in. I worked with a lot of companies, a lot of brands, and a lot of different industries. And when I came in, I really got a firsthand look of the disparity between what the product costs a furniture company and what the consumer pays. There's all sorts of reasons for that, but it's an eye-opener in furniture, especially for some really high-end brands that are producing furniture in the same factories to the same wood spec, to the same, with using the same hardware, same construction, same design, and they're charging 4 times the amount that that some of the other companies might charge. That is definitely a major eye opener, and it speaks volumes to a lot of times consumers come in and they'll pay for something, they'll feel good about it, but they don't realize what they just paid for. They didn't pay for furniture. One quarter of what they paid for was their furniture, and there's so much additional stuff that goes on that didn't really have to be there. And a large part of it goes into some inertia that's in the furniture space and how many hands that piece of furniture has actually touched before it gets to the end user. And that's one thing we're trying to do. You mentioned, how is it that we do it? We're really trying to be as direct to consumer as possible, even through our marketplace channels as well. So that's a major advantage we have, which is why we can have our price point the way it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then maybe in simpler terms, just to recap, since you guys are very vertically integrated and have your own distribution, manufacturing, sourcing channels, you're able to be a true direct-to-consumer and not a faux direct-to-consumer brand.
Anyone with a website is a direct-to-consumer brand all of a sudden, but that's not necessarily the definition.
That's what it is. And I know because I used to run one. We didn't manufacture anything at the brand that I used to run. Right. And yet created a brand around it. And spoiler alert, neither do some like West Elm and Crate and Barrel. They're not necessarily in the manufacturing or distribution business. They're buying from suppliers like everybody else. So there are varying levels of this direct-to-consumer idea in the furniture industry. And I think the more customers are educated about that, the more it'll force brands like yours and others to be more transparent and take that authentic approach. Ultimately, it may be a little painful for some brands to be a little bit more honest about their manufacturing and sourcing partnerships. But in the end, it will be the healthy thing for the industry to move on in this sort of like new age where information and technology are so readily available. The simpler version of that is like customers are going to be able to tell. They're going to have a BS meter that's going to be a lot more sensitive than it used to be. So all of us in the industry need to follow suit. And I think you guys being transparent about things, offering products at a fair price, like those ideals are very important and cornerstone to a strategy that's going to live on past today.
That's true. To your original point, segueing into what you're saying, when I also first got into the industry, I knew that there was a large online furniture industry, but I had never purchased furniture online. There's actually a lot of people who hadn't done it at that point, but there are people who are buying furniture online. But that is one thing that really struck me, which just how satisfying online furniture purchases can be. I think it's a little bit scary for some people because they like to touch and feel and sit, and that makes perfect sense. But there's so many pros to buying online. For instance, a lot of the companies that we work with on the B2B side will buy our furniture, they'll put it in their showroom. There are some companies that don't buy our furniture and put it in their showroom. Instead, they have a kiosk there, an endless aisle kiosk. So shoppers go into their local furniture district and they go and they sit and they test their sofas, and there's 20 sofas there and the one isn't there, and they go to the kiosk and they see this endless aisle of additional sofas, and they wind up buying from that kind of technology anyway. So the fact that you can go online, whether it's with Simpli Home or any other brand, it opens up the door to what you're able to buy. And there's a whole world out there. You can get really niche, you can get really exact for exactly what you want, what the brand is, what the price is, what the construction is, what the style is, what the leather is or fabric. There's a lot of pros there. And things like free shipping, things like augmented reality. You can take a look at the sofa in your own space beforehand. It's amazing what technology is doing to make it such a, not just viable, but a wonderful way to shop for furniture.
I totally agree. And I've been in furniture e-commerce since it really was getting off the ground. Yeah. And I've watched it evolve over the years. And there's still plenty of people who will say, I will never buy a piece of furniture online. Yeah. And to those people, I say, that makes sense to me. That's fine. In fact, 80% in the US, 80% of the furniture buying is done on the brick and mortar level. However, there are plenty of advantages, like you just said. The fact that you have obviously the convenience and also just the selection and choice, I think actually contributes to people's feeling of comfort, knowing that they have this, as you said, endless aisle, meaning like endless options available to them. They're not trapped into the 10 sofas that the local store chose to put on their floor. So I think that's really interesting, like psychologically to think about.
And then Couch.com, for instance, is just an essential part of the regimen that we're talking about, where it's one thing if they're nervous, they go online, they find a few brands, they can see some sofas. But Couch.com is a great way to level the playing field and stack things up. One thing that I really appreciate that you do is you're looking at comparable sofa designs, and you'll say this one versus that one. And you'll go and you'll take a look and just spell out the pros and cons of the comparison. I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, ultimately, just to tie it all together, it's all about making people feel more comfortable, literally, and figuratively, and literally. Right. No, but literally, like having people feel that sense of comfort prior to making their purchases is essential. And then actually delivering a great product after that, also very important outside of the whole marketing and retail side of it. And like I said, I think you guys do a great job of that. So I'm super happy that we got to spend this time together. I'm really interested to see where our relationship can go between Couch.com and Simpli Home going forward. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great to chat. And thank you for spreading the word on Simpli Home, trying to be the best value for luxury sofas. That's what we're trying to achieve. And I appreciate the airtime.
My pleasure. I'm going to get my son out. Hey, Wilder, get out of that box. Okay, he's getting out now. Thanks, Darcy.
Okay. Bye, Alex.